We're live. Oh my goodness. Welcome yet again to another edition of our PCS Q&A. I'm your host, MJ Boyce. I am the Director of Community Outreach here at PCS Grades. Boom. See, I got switched over here. Apparently, it's not like riding a bike, people. It's been 2 weeks. Over here at PCS Grades, we have been traveling like crazy. We've been at the Association of the U.S. Army annual meeting. We've been at MilSpouse Fast in Fort Drum. Shout out to all my Army peeps because it's been heavy Army lately. And actually, this coming week, next week, I will be at the You're Worth It conference through the Inspired Up Foundation with Jess Manfrey. Go check out our webinar if you didn't see it, because it's going to be off the chain. You may see some awesome pictures. Yes, you will see this mug, and I'll be all moto. But welcome back. We're super excited to be back here. We've got a great show for you today. We've got Cameron Cruz from R.Riveter. We brought Sally back to help us out, get back in the groove of things. But before we get to both of them, we're going to go ahead and dive down into those housekeeping items as we do every week. Ready? Set, here we go. All right, people, we've got the answers. And if we don't have those answers, guess what? We know who does. And if we don't know either of those things in the moment, we're going to take your questions for action and get back to you with an answer. Speaking of questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, shout outs, go ahead and drop those in the comments section below or to the side, depending on which format you're using. And you will be entered to win a $250 R.Riveter gift card. I mean, hi. We're going to be going ahead and talking a little bit more about that because, yes, you want that in your life. Yes, you do. And we've actually also got an additional surprise, and we're going to go down that rabbit hole. Sally's going to go through that with us here in a few minutes. Excuse me. So questions, comments, concerns, suggestions, shout outs. LOL smiley face is totally encouraged. Don't count it as entry to win, people. So yeah, go ahead and drop those in the comment section below and we'll make sure that you get entered to win. The more times you engage with us, the more chances you get. All right, moving on. We bring you the experts. Experts like the U.S. Transportation Command. Experts like MilSpouse employment advocates. We've got experts like entrepreneurs, MilSpouse entrepreneurs like our girl Cameron Cruz here. And we bring them to you because they are the source for you to ask questions in real time. But sometimes you're going to have a question that's specific to you and your military family regarding the PCS process. And in those specific instances, your two forever and always resources will be, number one, your local chain of command. Number two, your local transportation office. Those are the people who know you. Those are the people who are dealing with your stuff. Those are the people who could take your issues and further them for action. We do have a couple of updates, by the way. I don't know if you've been hearing the scuttlebutt coming around the way, but starting November 1st, which is Monday, people, November 1st, move.mil will be no more. Well, you will be executing your orders. When you get your orders and you go to start that move process, you're not going to go to move.mil anymore. You're going to go over to Military One Source. And we're going to go ahead and drop that link down into the comment section for you to start getting used to the platform. Everything that was already on move.mil, like the contacts for all of the branch-specific transportation offices or customer services, it will all still be there. You'll just not go to move.mil. You will go over to Military One Stores, which in this case is, again, a one-stop shop. So keep that in mind starting November 1st. No bueno on the move.mil. Okay. The last kind of update that I have for you is that, we have spouse sponsors, y'all. Did you know that we have boots on the ground military spouses just like you in your area and very key areas, about 20 between Fort Belvoir here on the East Coast all the way to Hawaii. Yeah, we have them there and they're the boots on the ground, but we need a couple more. Here's the premise, people. When we get orders somewhere, 9 times out of 10, our service members get a sponsor. And then they head out the door a day or so later, where we deal with the logistics. So where's our spouse sponsor? Enter the spouse sponsor program through PCS Grades. These people are going to be that warm handoff, boots on the ground when you get to a new area. Instead of just saying, oh, the EFMP office, let me Google that for you. They're going to say, oh, the EFMP office, I know so-and-so over there. Let me do a warm handoff. Who doesn't want that? So they're kind of like the local go-tos, and we're looking for a few more. Specifically, we're looking for a few spouse sponsors in. We need one in San Antonio. We need one here in the DMV area, preferably near Fort Meade. We did get an application in, but throw your name in the hat if you're in that area and interested in being part of our team. We also need somebody at Wright-Patterson Air Force Base in Ohio, as well as Maxwell Air Force Base down there in Bama. So if you know somebody in those areas, go ahead and message the PCS Grades Facebook page and we will get with you. All right. I am actually going to go ahead and hand this over. Wait, holy cow. Almost forgot. One last thing. We got to keep doing our part, people. We have got to flatten that curve. We've got to flatten that curve. We are getting closer. It comes in waves, but it's about to get cold, so who knows what's going to happen. But either way, be vigilant. Wear your mask, social distance, pay attention to those local restrictions or mandates, because when we flatten that curve completely, we are going to flatten Murphy with it. Do you hear us, Murphy? We are coming for you. And with that, I will now hand it over to Sally for some interesting updates as well. Sally.
Thanks, MJ. Appreciate it. So we have an incredible guest returning to our show today. Last time, COO and co-founder of R.Riveter joined us, Cameron. She talked about her recent experience PCSing in an RV. She's tuning in from that RV today. Y'all loved her so much, we had to invite her back to the show. And for those of you tuning in for the first time, you might have seen Cameron on Shark Tank, NBC News, Forbes Magazine, and the list goes on because she is an incredible female entrepreneur. And in addition to being the co-founder of R.Riveter, she has a master's degree in architecture from the Savannah College of Arts and Design. It helps inform those beautiful bags she creates. And she's a proud mama and military spouse. So we're so excited to have her on here soon. And but we obviously can't have her here without giving away some swag. So at the end of today, like MJ said, one of you is going to earn a $250 R.Riveter gift card. But there are folks who can't tune in. So from today until November 9th, you can enter to win a $250 gift card using the link Teresa is going to drop in the chat here for you. So we're giving away $500 in Riveter swag. So with that in mind, I want to go ahead and welcome Cameron Cruz back to the show. Cameron, we'd love for you to tell the audience a little bit more about yourself as we kick off today's webinar.
Hi. Okay, so first of all, I have questions because Move.mil is moving, and do I get to keep my logins? I have so many follow-ups because I'm literally in the middle of trying to get all my stuff from North Carolina to Texas. So maybe we can go back to that. No, but in all seriousness, we started R.Riveter in 2011, and we are a handbag company on a mission. So many of you guys might have heard about us. So many might have not. So I'm so pumped to be able to share our story. But what we do is we provide mobile, flexible income for military spouses. That means they get to take their job with them no matter where the military takes them, because God knows every 2 to 3 years on average, we're going to pick up and we're going to move, and everything is going to change. And your income opportunity could be one less thing that you have to worry about. And so that's what we do at R.Riveter. We try to provide that sort of stability and that empowerment and that community for the military spouses that are a part of our team. I'm just pumped to be here. I always love these conversations. I feel like I always learn something when I join these webinars. So I'm very grateful for it, being in the middle of a move myself, and just happy to answer any questions and dig in with you guys.
Awesome. So I'm so glad that you already touched on the military spouse employment piece that we're here to talk about today. I'm actually going to just share some stats for our audience, because I think, as military spouses, we know that PCSing affects military spouse employment, but it's just really eye-opening to see some of these statistics and how PCSing really impacts spouse employment. Let me pull it up here. If my computer cooperates.
And I know all of us have lived these stats. Like, you're going to go through these and you're going to be like, yep, that was me at that base at one time. And then I moved to another and I got a different job. You know, it is so, we're all going to listen to these and be like, yep, that's our lives.
Yeah. All right. So MJ and Teresa, I need y'all's help to pull that slide up that I'm sharing. There we go.
Gotcha.
Thank you, ma'am. So y'all are probably heard about Blue Star Families. Every year they do an annual survey. These are results from their 2020 survey. And it's no surprise to see when asked during your time associated with the military, what were your biggest stressors, or what are your biggest stressors in your military family? The top stressor is military spouse employment challenges. And one of the top reasons for those challenges, they're recovering from a PCS move. And I think what's even crazier than that is only 18% of active duty spouse respondents in the survey reported that they were able to retain their employment through a PCS move. So when we PCS, military spouses are losing their jobs, which is just obviously a huge impact on any family. And y'all, this is from the 2020 survey, and we can go ahead and take those stats down. But this is from the 2020 survey, but this has been a top stressor since Blue Star Families launched the survey in 2009. So Cameron, we are just, you and the rest of your team at R.Riveter are really, taking on this problem, with the work that you're doing. And so can you share a little bit more about how that's informed your mission at R.Riveter?
So I will say that top stressor was 100% me in 2011. So I graduated with, like you said, a master's in architecture in 2011. And I was actually one of the few people lucky enough to start and finish my degree in the same spot. I know a lot of people don't get that opportunity. And we moved from the beautiful Savannah, Georgia, where you've got architecture and everything happening around you, into the middle of nowhere. So we moved to Dahlonega, Georgia, which is that 5th Ranger Training Battalion, little dot on a map in the middle of the woods. And there was no architecture happening. And I cannot tell you how many people that I've talked to have said, I experienced the exact same thing, just in a different way. So we move out to the middle of nowhere, and here comes my quarter life crisis. Like, what in the world am I going to do with all the clothes that I bought for my new job? What am I going to do with my student loans? what am I going to do with this beautiful portfolio that I had built up that I thought was going to be my life, my way ahead? And, the military just had different plans. And so at this moment, I had to say, okay, well, what can I control? Obviously, I want to have a job. I want to have income, and I want something to call my own as a military spouse, but as an individual, I wanted to be able to fulfill that part of my soul because it was important to me. And so it was like, all right, well, if nobody's coming to save me, then let's just see what I can start, maybe with Lisa, who is my co-founder. And so we had this idea that we could provide flexible income, but then it was like, you know what? There's so many people already providing flexible income. There's part-time jobs. There's stuff that you can work from home. There's already people doing that to a certain degree. But then we're like, wait a minute, what if it was mobile? Like, what if you could take it with you from every single duty station that you were at? So you could go literally from Georgia to Colorado to North Carolina and then back to Colorado again. And we were like, whoa, light bulb moment. And then we had this mission to provide mobile, flexible income for military spouses before we even knew we wanted to make handbags. So that was us in 2011 in the garage. We had literally never manufactured anything a day in our lives, and we just jumped right in. And so it was really born out of that need that both Lisa and I had, but it was like, man, if we could do something for our entire community, then that's a win-win. And so, like I said, we just kind of never looked back.
And
no,
I
you know what? I was just going to say, I really appreciate the fact that you're like, okay, so I got all this education. Now what do I do with it? Like, I moved. So like, my life is not the same. So like, now what? Like for the record, we already know that PCSing is a barrier when it comes to military spouse employment. Like I was just on an MSEP panel yesterday through the Spouse Ambassador Network, shout out. And this was one of the things we were talking about. There are two givens. Number one, we're all going to transition from the military at some point. But number two, the vast majority of us are going to PCS. We got to keep doing this over and over. So I was like you, like, what do I do now? I have a degree in social psychology. What in God's name am I going to do with that? I'm never anywhere long enough to get my licensure because certifications have to be maintained and earned from state to state. So I'm like, what can I do? Well, social psychology is about people. And I love to people. And I can people in any industry, as you know. And so I kind of had to flip it on that because it is what it is. And it becomes what you make of it, right?
Mm-hmm. Yep, 100%. No, I couldn't agree more. And it was like, okay, well, I'm going to start where I am with what I have, which is not a lot. Let's just be honest. In fact, I'm in the negative right now with all my student loans, which I can see in the comments is like, everybody is like, ah! Wow. And so it's like, okay, what do I do? All right, well, I can put a little bit on credit card, which I'm not advocating that you do, but that's what we did. That's our story. And we put a little bit on a credit card. Basically, we put $2,100 each in. Not all at one time either. We bought little things at a time. We were super scrappy. I mean, we were bootstrapping this thing. Our families, our friends, everybody in Dahlonega probably thought we were a little nuts. And so we start buying all these like little raw materials, a tent here and there. Like my husband was like, wait, you bought a tent without poles? I don't understand. And so I was like, yes, just give me a second. And so we start crafting these samples and we take these samples to market and we're like, hey, you get to pick your color and you get to pick your style and you know, kind of custom design your own bag. And we made 5 bags to 10 bags and 10 bags to make 20. So all that to be said, we started with what we had when we had it. We didn't wait and say, okay, you know what, maybe we could raise some money or we could raise some funds, or maybe I should go figure out how to do this first and put a whole business plan together. We were not that patient. And so we were like, you know what, just jump right in. And I'm sure there's pros and cons for every which way that you can start a business. But the way that Lisa and I did it, we were able to really prove the value that we were providing and then do more and more of what was working instead of like dumping multiple thousands of dollars into something that we didn't know, that we had this whole theoretical plan for. And, you know, like I said, we're not, anybody on our team can tell you that we're not very patient people when it comes to like, we want to see something, we're like, let's do it. Exactly.
No, and I think there are two things that, one thing that really stands out too, we're all used to mobile work now and like the post-COVID era, right?
Yep.
But when you came up with this idea, this was a new concept that you would be able to take your work with you. That was not the norm. And so, I mean, I think it's just one, incredible that you came up with that, and then two, brought it to life.
Well, thank you.
And so, I mean, I know that was the foundation when you started R.Riveter, but tell us more about this Riveter Fund that you've set up since you started.
Yeah. So early on, we realized pretty quickly, not everybody is meant to be a remote riveter and sew and make parts. Not every military spouse that's not everybody's motivation. And so we were like, okay, well, that makes sense. And plus we can only have so many remote riveters because we only can make so many bags and sell so many bags at one time. So we were like, okay, there are so many ways that we can empower our community other than making bags, which is our lifeblood. But in the meantime, how else can we support our military spouse entrepreneurs, or, you know, anybody who's out there doing something similar? How can we support them? And we thought, you know what? We started with something that we call our marketplace, where we actually buy curated third-party goods from other military spouse entrepreneurs or military connected entrepreneurs. And we sell them in our store, we sell them online, we get to test out product, people get to sell more and make more. It's a win-win for everybody. So we have this marketplace that ultimately funds something that we got to officially fully launch this year called our Riveter Fund, where we know as entrepreneurs who are bootstrapped and sort of got like literally squeezed every penny and dollar out of the very beginning, that $2,100 on a credit card did a lot for us. So how can we, you know, in a very short term kind of give it back? And so we came up with this idea that every year we could give $2,100 away to a military connected entrepreneur who is trying to grow and scale their brand or their business or what have you. And so we thought, you know what, how cool would it be to be able to continue that cycle and give back in a really impactful way, which is cold hard cash.
Mm-hmm. Money, money, paper, paper, money. Okay, sorry. No, sorry. Show me the money. Okay. All right. Well, I mean, like, I think that's fantastic. And it's another way. I mean, like, even post-COVID, even with remote jobs being as, I don't want to say plentiful, but as more as than they were 2 years ago, even with that, we still have to find those innovative ways to kind of, just like you said, not everybody is kind of set up or has the skills to be able to create the bags that you create. However, comma, pause for effect, don't mean they ain't got skills.
Right.
So definitely. I really love that. So let me ask you a question, because I think we kind of talked about this before, but I'm sure that, you know, there's a little more to it now. Everything gets fleshed out day by day. We know military life changes everything. But so does Ideas from the Idea Theory. So can you tell us what's in store in 2022 for R.Riveter?
Yeah. So what's cool about, well, what we think is cool, we hope other people think it's cool too, is that, yes, we started with handbags because handbags are a power accessory, right? Like everybody is going to choose a handbag, invest in it, bring it to the table. Like you take it to your business events, you take it to lunch, you take it in the car rider lane, like you take your handbag everywhere. And so we were like, okay, that's the perfect product. Now, how the hell do we make them? No, I'm just kidding. No, so we figured out how to make handbags. This is perfect. But our mission and our purpose goes so far beyond handbags that we want to continue to do more of what we do in the bag department. We love cranking out new products with new styles and colors and all that fun stuff. But we also want to be able to continue to develop our lifestyle brand and create other things like candles or accessories and, you know, just kind of fill it out. So any item that you would ever need, you could always come to R.Riveter and buy and support a military family with that purchase. So it's a little bit of like more of what we've been doing for the last 10 years, but also with some variety. And then of course we've got things like the Riveter Fund that we'll hopefully continue to do year after year, so we can really build that list, and that you know, giving back to other military spouses is so important to us. So we want to continue to make that the forefront of everything that we do.
No, for sure. And like, I have to throw up some of these. We've got some fantastic engagement in here. You all are on a mission. Like, you are on a mission. You are gunning for this R.Riveter giveaway, aren't you? Like, I can see it in the comments. So I just kind of, you know, I just wanted to kind of show some. We've got a shout out from Renee Van Allen. Shout out, Renee. Stacy Bilodeau. Oh, what's up? How's it going? We've got, Carrie Novak.
Oh, Carrie. Hey, girl.
I see you everywhere. Literally everywhere. She's on our marketing material. Literally.
Nice.
Shout out from your side of the house.
Stacy.
Lots and lots of people, and we're getting a lot of engagement, especially as it pertains to, like, when you started talking about the R.Riveter Fund. Let me tell you, this started going to town, and a lot of them are saying it's super difficult to find employment. You know, I have a special needs child, or, you know, obviously deployment is you know, right after a PCS. It's a lot of people are facing that specifically. So, like, literally just lighting up. Like, Carrie, shout out. Morgan Jar. See? I mean, and Stacy Vance, hello from Fort Meade. I think you and I might need to have a conversation up there at Fort Meade.
Sounds like we got to recruit.
I'm thinking that I'm going to do that. But yes, and I mean, like, that's a really, that was a huge thing. And just really quick, and I think that this is pertinent to what we were just discussing. Do you find it hard to be hands-on with R.Riveter since your PCS?
Yes and no. So I will say that there's a part of me that absolutely misses being connected to one of the physical locations that we had. And so I obviously had to leave the flagship store in the rear view, but of course I've got an incredible team there that's managing that and keeping that going on a day-to-day basis. So if you are in the Fort Bragg area, come and see us in Southern Pines. And tell them that I sent you from the webinar. It'll be so fun. But no, I do miss that in-person connection. So that is something that early on, we started the business and the type of business that we started because I was longing for that. I wanted that type of environment, that workplace to go to, that we all missed so much during COVID. But what I always kind of see and envision is, okay, what's my next move here where I am right now? So we moved to Texas over the summer, which was super bittersweet, but we all, like everybody loves Texas, so it's all good. And it's like, okay, well, how do I take my new community and bring R.Riveter, bring what I'm doing to this community? And it might look different. Like we honestly can't afford to set up a new retail store. That's a lot of resource and effort, but I can go, one of my plans is to go down to the street to the Chamber of Commerce and just introduce myself and start meeting people and have that in person, that network, that community where, it's going to take like that perfect day where you're like, all right, I'm dressed, I have my makeup on, I'm going to go meet somebody. But that's how I'm going to fill that sort of hole that was left with, my Southern Pines community that I miss so much. And then of course we've got the Florida team where they actually put everything together and make all the bags. We make an effort to always get together too. So it's really important to us, and we also have to invest in it. And investing in that travel is hard, especially during COVID, having kids, husband who's gone. But when something is really important to you, you have to make time for it. So two parts to that question is I absolutely miss the personal connections that I had, but I'm looking forward to building more in my current community and always invest in what you feel like is important. So if it's important to you to have that or to see that or to visit those people, do it.
Well, I think, Cameron, what you're talking about, like really putting yourself out there. Can y'all hear that noise? Of course, my garage is getting closed right now.
We can't, but we just thought it was Murphy and ignored it.
Sorry about that. So, you're talking about going out and meeting a lot of new people. As military spouses, we have to constantly put ourselves out there as we form those new networks. But, I think sometimes what comes along with that is we fail, right? Like it doesn't work out. And, as someone who's so successful, can you tell us or share a challenge that you overcame or a time where you failed, it didn't work out, and then you were able to learn from that and build from it?
I feel like the only time I ever have really felt like I failed. Now, there have been several vulnerable moments where I'm like, did I really just say that?
Yeah.
Did I just show up in that way? That's really embarrassing. But, there's definitely vulnerable moments. But I feel like the only failure for me would be like not showing up or not saying it or not trying. I have moments where I'm like, do I introduce myself as the owner of R.Riveter? Like when we were in Southern Pines and, I actually told somebody one time that I work for R.Riveter and I was like, did I just say that? And then you can't go back because you're like, actually, I'm the owner. I mean, I don't know what I said, So it's just like in those moments where you have to just be your vulnerable, authentic self and let everything else kind of go. I've been here now in Texas for has it been a couple of months now? And I feel like I should have already gotten out there and started to really meet people and engage. But, I'm just getting my feet underneath me. And I feel like that's my next step. So next time I'm on the PCS Grades webinar with you guys, I will hold myself accountable and I will have met at least 10 people in this area.
Okay, we'll hold you to that.
That's right.
I'm excited for our next show. But I think for those, it can be a really daunting task to say, I've got this business idea. How do I launch? Where do I get started? And you were touching on this a bit earlier, just jump in, or maybe it's writing the business plan. What other tips can you provide for our military spouses out there who want to launch their own business?
Yeah. So one thing that we realized early on was you have to make sure that everything that you're doing is providing and generating some kind of value. So don't get wrapped up in I want the most perfect social media feed or I want the most perfect website. There's so much resource and effort that goes into a lot of those things that are very They're very vanity driven, which we all like. I'm the first person to be like, is the website good? Is the social good? I feel you. But just make sure that you've got the product and that you can sell it. Like if it's a product based business, put your first couple together and get out there and try to sell them. And if somebody buys them, it's like, okay, continue that process. What do they like about it? What do they didn't like about it? What do they ask for when they were at your little booth in the vendor hall at the farmer's market? Just listening to your customers and don't get siloed in your own little world and trying to like make up scenarios that aren't there. Like I need that perfect, I need this perfect front, or, I think that people want this tote bag. Go out and ask them, go out and talk to them, and don't get, don't silo yourself off when you're starting a business.
Okay. I'm going to say one more thing, MJ, and I know you've got a question too, but so when you were like, listen to what your audience is saying, I think one thing comes to mind, PCS Grades audience, we've heard you wanted Oconus content to help with your overseas moves. So we've got that launching. Stay tuned. But that's Cameron, awesome. I've heard a couple of guys bring up that they want a Riveter briefcase or man bag.
Okay. Apparently you guys are on the same page on this one.
Yep. Yeah. So we have something is in the works. And I've said this on, it's actually in the prototype development phase, which is very difficult because men are very picky. And I know I've said that before. Dang it, men, and all of your wants for a messenger bag. But we absolutely have heard you and we are working on it.
Okay. Can we no sneak
for me? I swear. I know your husband wants one. That's amazing.
Yeah.
Although, just for the record, our girl Stacy, shout out from R.Riveter. She says there are some men's wallets, but
Stacy's always got the answer. Like if you need something, Stacy is always there with like a link. It's perfect. Thank you, Stacy.
Yes, and that link is in here, by the way, people, if you're interested. I mean, I'm looking over this engagement. I did see a couple times. I know you have the R.Riveter Fund and such. If somebody did want to get involved with R.Riveter and take that on the road, if they did have the skills that were necessary, where would they go for that?
So right now, I know it's hard. It's hard time right now because I don't think we're actively recruiting remote riveters. But if you are like, this is my life, I've got to do this, send us an email at sales@rriveter.com and we will get you on the list. And for any other things that you ever might need, the website is always the best place to go. So that's R.Riveter.com. And you can always send us an email, and Stacy and her team, we're going to get back to you as soon as we can with the answer.
Well, we're talking about new design and new products coming out, but y'all also have this awesome line, the Heirloom Collection, where you can actually send in your favorite print, right? Can you tell us more about that?
So that was one of those that I would love to take full credit for Heirloom, but it was something that our customers actually asked for very, very early on when we were making all of the bags out of recycled military materials. And they were like, well, I have my own military materials. Can I bring those in and have a bag made? And we were like, well, that sounds like it's difficult. I don't know. We kind of went back and forth, and then it was like, yes, absolutely. Bring in the military materials. Tell us what you want to do. And we actually take whatever you want to send in. So it's a lot of military materials, but there's also police, firefighter. We've had people send in like blazers, like business blazers from people, sweaters from like a grandma that passed away. Like we've had some really, really cool materials. So we'll take anything and we will turn it into a handbag of your choice.
That's pretty cool.
Really quick, Stacy Vance had a question. Do you guys have an Instagram page?
We do, at R.Riveter Bags.
At R.Riveter Bags. Write it down, people.
Yes. So when we first started the business and we were looking for like the perfect name, Lisa was the first person to nail down R.Riveter. And when I saw it, I was like, that's it. Like, it's perfect, And so I gave my stamp of approval. We went right into like, we checked the domain name, like rriveter.com was available. And then we go to Instagram and somebody has at R.Riveter. And it's just like a random individual has our hashtag. So It's at R.Riveter Bags. Dang it. But
No,
at R.Riveter Bags
okay.
is a great one.
Bam. Mic drop. It is because that's what it is. Because that's what they are. So 2 birds, 1 stone on that one. Shout out, Monica.
There you go.
You win my internet today.
Well, I know the Heirloom Collection sounds, with the holidays right around the corner, that just sounds like the best, most personal gift you could provide.
Absolutely.
I mean, but y'all got a holiday guide too. What's
We
in the
do.
holiday guide?
All kinds of stuff. So like if you're shopping for that Patriot like male in your life, or if we have a lot of men that end up buying bags for their wives and girlfriends and mothers and sisters. So if you are looking for that like hint, you can always send it along as like, hey, for everybody in your life this holiday season, support a military family.
Yeah.
Yes,
and
usually my boo, my husband, Christopher, shout out. I'm pretty sure you're watching what she just said.
That's right. Hint, hint, hint. Send it along.
You're welcome, boo. We have, oh my gosh, we have so much. If you have a specific question for Cameron or even Sally or any of us, go ahead and throw it, because we're getting a little close to the wire here with this giveaway. And we're going to be giving away a $250 gift card. I could do a lot of damage up in our Riveter with $250. I don't know about you, but you have your chance. So any questions, anything you want to say, go ahead and throw it down in the comment section while we're here. And did we already speak about Sally? Did we already talk about yes, you already talked about the sweepstakes.
Oh, I'm going to circle back to the San Diego Zoo at the end, because we're giving away this gift card. I'm going to hold that.
Okay. All right. Quick question from Stacy Vance. Do you guys have any EFMP families working with PCS grades? Oh, that's a question for us. I would love to be considered for that. We are in it with 4 family members enrolled. You know what, Stacy? Just the fact that you are living right now at Fort Meade is a huge help. Our spouse sponsor program is designed with the resource military spouse in mind. Our job is to empower you to do what you do at your local area. So once we get offline, I'm going to be reaching out to you, because I do have your information as an avid webinar watcher. So I'll be getting with you shortly after this to kind of maybe go over that a little bit more. But that's a very, very good question, because we need to know where those resources are, and who better to provide it than the people who are living it, right?
The one thing I'll add, Stacy, for you is that we help sponsor the Partners in Promise survey that they just conducted in terms of how PCSing impacts EFMP family members. And we'll be at that table discussing the results with them in the coming months. And we're going to share those results with our audience. So stay tuned. We've got more coming on that. And we're also going to drop a link into the chat about our recent webinar with Partners in Promise too.
Quick question for Cameron from Carrie. How many employees do you have since you started your business?
So I started in the garage with just me and Lisa, literally just the 2 of us, freezing our heinies off in November. And we are now at 42 employees across the country, a large majority of them at our facility where we put everything together, and then a little chunk over in North Carolina with the retail store. And then, of course, we've got an admin team and Lisa and myself sprinkled across the United States. So that's our employees. And then we have remote riveters that make the parts and pieces all over the country. We have about 45 of those right now. So pushing 100 all in total.
That's incredible.
It is. You got a shout out from Caitlin Hevelin. Shout out. She said, I just want to say another thank you to PCS Grades, Cameron, and R.Riveter as the winner of the last giveaway when she was on. I adore my bags, and they will be joining me at the You're Worth It conference next week. So I look forward to meeting you in person, Caitlin. This is amazeballs.
I mean, I feel like we have to see pictures of that. Like, that has to, at R.Riveter Bags.
Yes,
I will. Yes, I love it.
I will be the paparazzi for that photo.
Perfect. I love that.
Renee had an interesting question. I mentioned before about starting up your business in a new community, but not wanting to be that pushy person selling things. How are you handling that?
So as the person who introduced themselves as somebody who worked for R.Riveter, I totally understand the not pushy piece. Like this was something very challenging for me as that learned introvert, learned extrovert personality. And a lot of it comes down to the way we even structured our mission and how we do what we do and why we do what we do. Because, it's not just a bag that I'm trying to push on you or that I'm like, you should buy this handbag. It's like, hey, we have a mission and we'd love for you to be a part of it. It's almost like finding a way to open up the conversation beyond what you're selling and more of like how you can provide value to their life, because that feels so much easier and better and more authentic than like, I think you should buy this brand new bag. And it's very challenging. I will tell you, I'm not very good at it. Stacey can tell you that many times she's had to rescue me, and she's been the person that has helped me push R.Riveter forward in a lot of conversations, because it's hard for me. But having a retail store, we force a lot of that traffic to come to us in Southern Pines, and then having a solid, online strategy has also been very helpful. So I'm not going to lie, it's challenging. It's something that I'm not very good at. I will tell you, my business partner, Lisa, is better at it. And so that's where I feel like you always have to have those people that surround you that become your yin and yang. And if you're that, that introvert watercolor and you need that extroverted like spreadsheet girl or guy, go out and find them, and it's not always in a business partner format either. That's your team. So
I really like that you put it like kind of like that. Like I'm a huge Simon Sinek fan, total TED Talk junkie over here. Yeah. And I remember him saying, people don't care what you do. They care why you do it. People don't care what you do. They care why you do it. So for instance, me working at PCS Grades, of course, I'm screaming at the top of my lungs about all the resources we have for relocation, but I actually care and use them. And I'm not saying it because, hey, I just want more butts in the seats or more numbers. I'm saying it because I'm so excited about it. I feel like people need this in their lives. And there's a place for people like myself, which is here, because people don't care what we do, but they care why we do it. We just happen to be really good at what we do.
Yep, 100%. And then you get people that are telling that story for you, so you have advocates. So your customers become your own advocates. And that is like the best place in the world to be.
Oh my goodness. Charmaine was on our webinar. Y'all have got to check out her book. This is a full on TED Talk. Thanks. Charmaine, we're going to pull your past webinar too and plug it on here so people can check out your awesome PCS work.
What does Charmaine do?
Oh, Charmaine is a children's author. She PCS. Charmaine, I don't remember how many times you PCS as a kid. It was a lot. And
she's a military brat, affectionately known as. And she wrote some children's books for mom and dad. That's my favorite part, because mom is the service member sometimes too. But I mean, like this she PCS 9 times. 9 times.
Yeah. Yep. Nothing like military life, right?
And kids love to see themselves in the books they read, right? Yeah. That's really important. And so because of Charmaine, kids can now read books about other kids who PCS. It's pretty incredible. Mm-hmm.
I can tell you it's going to be on my MilKid 2.0's bookshelf for sure. Because we don't use the G word, people. But yes, it's definitely going to be part of his library. Because it's a must-have, and it's for them. It's for our MilKids. So shout out Charmaine.
Yeah, I move a lot. Yeah. Well, MJ, while I pull up that link for Charmaine, I think we're getting close to the wheel of names. But I also, y'all, we know how much military spouse employment is impacted by PCSing. We have some new content Teresa's going to drop in the chat to help you on your employment journey. So definitely check out that content if you're struggling to find your next job. We're here to help, and we're really excited about the new content we have to share for you. Yes. So, I mean, MJ, do you think we're ready to give away the gift card? Or Cameron, is there anything else you want to add before we give away this awesome prize?
Oh, goodness. I don't think so. I mean, if you're following us and you're on the email list on rriveter.com, you're going to get all of the information. So if you check those 2 blocks, you'll be totally in the know.
I have to say, y'all's emails are emails I don't mind. Some companies you sign up for and it's just email overload. Your emails are so pretty. It's like a little bit of joy just peppered into my inbox each week. I love them.
I'll have to tell our team. They'll be so excited to hear that.
Prettiest emails ever. Yes.
I am just waiting on the names from Teresa. And I mean, like, literally the engagement is off the chain. Audience, you are on fire. And I'm totally digging it because I've missed you these last 2 weeks. So apparently it's kind of been building up in prep for today. So you just had a bunch of saved rounds that you saved just for us. Oh my goodness. Okay, so I'm pulling that in, and Teresa, here comes the names. So next week, as I mentioned, we will not have a webinar next week. However, again, pause for effect. You may see a Facebook Live at some point on our Facebook page, or at least some really great pictures from a lot of you who are in this audience right now, as well as with me. I'm just unbelievably just excited for this. Oh my absolute goodness. I just plugged this. Wait till you guys see this. This is a really huge wheel of names.
MJ, save it for them because I've got to do my part. So I've got to share one prize. It's great. I'm excited about the prize. Not as excited as I would be about our Riveter bag, but this is also a great prize for y'all out there. We need Camp Pendleton reviews. We need San Diego reviews. If MJ or Teresa, y'all could help share the screen.
Gotcha.
There we go. We are trying to, garner reviews for San Diego. So if you're in California and you can help us out, you can win 4 passes to the San Diego Zoo. So we're going to drop that link in the chat too. And who knows, maybe you'll win an R.Riveter bag and a trip to the zoo.
By the way, it's not, even if you've never lived there, but you know somebody who has, or you know somebody who belongs to a group or who is there right now, shoot it their way. I mean,
please do.
Like, share the wealth, because honestly, the reviews that we receive in our database go to help other military families like my daughter, like my MilKid 2.0, and like everyone like them that needs a little heads up before they go to their first or second or last duty station.
Absolutely.
Okay, so am I good to share now?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, you
Thanks
guys
for
are
letting me slip that in.
Oh no, of course. This is actually going to be off the chain. You're not even going to be able to see the names. That's how many there are. Check this out.
Oh my goodness.
What?
Can you even? Okay, so this right here is for a $250 R.Riveter gift card. Get ready to do some damage. Can I get a drum roll, please?
This is the biggest wheel of names we've ever seen.
Renee Van Allen.
All right.
Renee. Shout out, Renee.
That's exciting.
Fantastic. Congratulations, Renee. I do believe we have your information, but if you could just shoot us your information to the PCS Grades Facebook page in a DM if you would. We will definitely be getting with you to get that, because that is just insane. That is just insane. I'm loving it.
Now,
I'm loving it.
Remember, if you did not win, if you were not Renee and you are bummed out because you did not win the $250 gift card, don't give up. We're going to drop the link in there one more time. You can head on over to R.Riveter, enter to win. And from today until November 9th, you can still be entered to win. You have a chance to win another gift card. And Renee, you can win twice.
We had to
Renee,
get in on it. I mean, we couldn't let the webinar have all the fun. Like, we had to continue it for at least several weeks. So we're so excited. We're going to give away another $250 on rriveter.com. I know there's a link. It's going to be perfect. and you're going to find out right before Veterans Day, like right in time for Christmas. Maybe a little self-Christmas present even too. No
I'm
shame
all
in that.
about that self-care, and I think this is a way to get it. I'm just saying. Well, thank you so much for coming on again, Cameron. We know that we're going to have you again in the future. That's just a given. Write it down. I know,
love it.
Monica,
I'll
you're
have
probably
met
writing it
10
down.
people in this community.
That's
Remember,
right.
You gotta
We're
hold
holding
me
you to
accountable.
that. 10.
I took
Today
a note.
is October 27th. So remember that, people. 10 people. And yes, we're super excited, especially everything that we talked about. Thank you so much for supporting our community. And thank you, everyone, for being so engaging. Sally, thanks for coming on and helping a sister out. And until next time, everyone, this too shall PCS.
PCS.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye, everyone.